Sean, last night was a night filled with stupidity, and idiocy for me. One, remember what? Stupid soccer ties, right?
Yeah, you got 2 of the 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And if Mexico doesn't score very late in the game, I would have been 3 for 3 on the ties there. And then, idiots. What was it that Peyton Manning said about field goal kickers?
Idiot kickers.
Idiot kickers. You know, it's one thing to lose by the hook. It's one thing to lose by the hook because the idiot kicker misses not 1, but 2 extra points. But quite honestly, losing that game, I mean, I hate losing. That's just, I want to throw my phone against the wall when I'm losing. But it's one thing to lose a game and just be completely wrong. It's another thing to lose a game where you were right, but things just didn't work out right for you. One, the idiot kicker, like I said, missed 2 extra points. And then the South Utah quarterback deep in Arizona State territory, not 1, but 2, but not twice deep in Arizona State, throwing interceptions. One at the end of the first half that doesn't make any sense at all because you just take some points, you get off the field and go on. Or maybe their idiot kicker would have missed it anyway. But so I don't really mind. I mean, if I'm going to lose, I'd rather lose a game where I was right, but just happened to be wrong because one of those bad beat type situations occurs, which happens from time to time.
Yeah, and I mean, you were right. You said 2 touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns. So
they should have scored more.
Oh, yeah, and you were right on. I mean, obviously, you said you lost over by 0.5 point. Arizona State didn't come close to covering the 45.5. I mean, that's – and then I have a rant about East Carolina. I mean, they came back to make it 2 touchdowns. And, yeah, I needed another touchdown to get the over. But they had 2 timeouts with 1:50 left. Appalachian State's running the ball, and the coach decides not to use any of the timeouts. I'll never understand that. The players
probably hoping his team makes a stop or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they were making a stop, but he didn't use the timeout, and he left Appalachian State run out the clock. They could have got the ball back with like a minute left. The players played to the end, and the coach just leaves the time run out. I don't understand that. That's the wrong message to send to the kids.
Well, maybe he has he's got some money on the other side of the ball.
I guess he had the under.
Yeah, so UFC had let me down, had 5-leg parlay, and UFC lost. Yeah, they must have lost late because when I checked the score late, they were up by 5.
Yeah, they won, but they lost the spread.
Oh, they lost this. What was it, like 6.5 or something like that? 5.5?
It was 6. Actually, because of the delay and stuff, I was right at 9:45, and when they kicked off, it was 5.5. And they won by 5. So I
another hook loss. God, Drew, is there anything worse than the hook loss? I mean, I don't think there's anything worse than the hook loss because the idiot kicker misses an extra point. I mean, to me, that's the worst loss that you can have by the hook and because the kick. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. Not only am I have to be a relief pitcher, Sean, but I'm gonna have to go out and get the those flat toe shoes that the guys used to wear in the '60s when they would kick the field goals. Get out there and warm up to be the extra point kicker for every over that I'm a part of.
Yeah, and I always want to put the headset on. I would have been calling timeouts yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wonder sometimes too about the genius of coaching and how I get in there. Oh yeah, 1.5. That's just terrible. Drew says he lost his parlay by 1.5 points. 5-teamer. Yeah, I think yeah, I would be fuming. I would be burning up today if that were the case, Sean. For me, I can't say it. That's how I feel about losing it yesterday. I mean, hey, but my Cubs, I was right about my Cubs, right? I said an easy win for the Cubs. Yeah, that was really easy. And that even today's game looks like yesterday. The Cubs were up and then they're down. I mean, yesterday that starting pitcher came in and got shelled, and then the Cubs came back and got up to 5-3 lead. And then, of course, top of the 9th, here comes the reliever. Yeah. And crazy catcher interference play. I'm like, cool. I mean, how many weird ways can you lose? Catcher interference. What the hell is that? Do they even call that anymore?
Well, apparently when you have them in a bet, they do.
Yes, especially me.
Yeah, so I'm 4-2 in college football now. I went 3-1 last night, went 3-1 2 days ago, and of course I had to be sandwiched in between an 0 and 3. So I got to avoid those bad days like everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I don't mind. I could take a loss like I had yesterday better than if I'm just completely wrong like the Hawaii game, because then I know that I'm on the right side of things, just that there's just a lack of execution on one hand. But we have some college football games again today to see if we can't get them right. You have North Carolina and Virginia Tech. The Virginia Tech squad's getting 5 points against the 10th ranked Tar Heels. Is this going to be a play for you today, Sean?
Yeah, I'm taking North Carolina here. They're just way more talented. Sam Howell could be the Heisman winner this year. They did lose some receivers, and they lost Michael Carter, the running back. He's actually with the Jets now. But they have plenty of weapons, and Sam Howell's going to make them look good because he's a really good quarterback. Virginia Tech, they've been struggling the last few years. Since Frank Beamer left, it's not the same Virginia Tech team.
Mm-hmm. You're going to lay 5.5?
Yeah, I'm going to lay 5.5 and take North Carolina. Now, I will say that number 10 ranking, I hope North Carolina has a great year. Somebody new in there. But that number 10, they might be a little overhyped with that.
Well, I've seen that quarterback play. He's lights out. And usually the best quarterback wins for sure. Kid's going to be highly drafted. I think they probably do win, but I think it's going to be a close game. It's not in my margin for error at all. So I'm just going to give you some moral support, Sean. Hope they add to your total in the NCAA football and lean North Carolina. Anything about the total? You like anything about going over or under the 63.5?
No, that seems about right and could go either way. If I had to lean and you told me to pick one, I might pick the under here. Just some new players here, and Virginia Tech's offense. Definitely, North Carolina's going to score. I don't know about as much as Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I have it going under by about a field goal, so maybe around 60 points, somewhere in that ball game. Old Dominion and Wake Forest. I mean, this is a hard thing to figure out. Old Dominion didn't play last year. Wake Forest is a big favorite in this spot, like 30 some odd points, right? Minus 31.
Yep.
Minus 30, 31.5, 32. So I mean, Wake Forest probably smashes them. But again, I can't make a decision off of lack of data for me.
And I will say too, like yesterday with the Tulsa was 3 touchdown favorite over UC Davis, and UC Davis beat them. Some of these lower schools that are huge favorites, they can't cover these spreads. They're not used to being that favorite. They're not that much better than these teams. Wake Forest does have a good offense though, so they should be able to put up points. But I'd be really weary about giving that many points up.
Yeah, well, right now, I mean, it looks like the betting public is not too weary about it because almost 95 cents on the dollar is backing the Wake Forest squad. And then as far as that total is going, most of the people are playing the over 65.5, Sean. It's about 2/3 of the money. You think that anything about that? You think it's down to 61, so you feel like that can be the case, or you can get 60.5 some different places?
Yeah, I just see there I don't know how much Old Dominion's going to score. Wake Forest is going to put up points, but I don't know how many points are Old Dominion. I don't like any of the lines in this game at all. There's better spots here.
Duke and Charlotte. This is a game where Duke is on the road, favored by, looks like the line's moving a little bit in their favor, 6.5. Again, this is a game when I look at it, according to my statistics, it looks like it's about a field goal game. So if I were going to take a side, I'd take the home squad getting 6.5 points, the old home dogs.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to take Charlotte plus 6.5. I think this is too many points. And I think people are just betting the name Duke over Charlotte. Charlotte's got some players returning, and they've been getting better. So home.
It'd be one thing if it were basketball.
Yeah, well, if it was basketball, that'd be about 60.5.
It wouldn't be this much, that's for sure.
So yeah. I'll take Charlotte plus 6.5 with an outside chance Charlotte wins this game.
So you're going to take Charlotte minus getting to 6.5. You're going to get minus 108. And if you wanted to take the money line, Sean, I wasn't prepared for that. So let's see what the money line says in the Charlotte Duke game. You can get plus 200, Sean. I mean, seems to me like if you think they're going to win, I think it's a 3-point game. Maybe split your bet in half on Charlotte with the points and half with Charlotte money line, and then you can end up, if you win both ways, you get a plus line for the whole thing.
What I'll do is I'll do 20 on the spread and 10 on the money line then.
I'm starting to think about maybe that's the way I'm going to start layering some of my bets nowadays, because I feel like if you're right, a lot of times you end up money lining the team as well. Michigan State and Northwestern. Drew says that he's only bet today is in this spot. says he's got the Eric, we have not covered Major League Baseball yet. He says he took the under in the Michigan State Northwestern game, his only bet of the day. As I look at that game today, unfortunately, Drew, I think it's going to be right on that number again. So you're going to be holding on to the very last second to see. It's really nice in Chicago today. So a little bit of rain today, but not a whole lot. So rain might be a little bit of a factor. A little bit windy, not too bad. A little bit cool. It's going to feel like a autumn football game. I have the game going a little bit over, Sean. How about you?
Yeah, it's so tough because it's only 45.5. It's so low. And I mean, I wouldn't want to play the over in this game, and I would lean the under like Drew. It's just that 45.5 scares me. It's either right on or just a little too low.
So if you're taking the game and it's 45.5, doesn't that sort of favorite Michigan State, you think, in terms of the 3 points?
Possibly, but I would trust Northwestern here more than Michigan State, but neither.
Yeah, I trust Northwestern enough. They have the better defensive players. I know they got to replace a lot of guys that went off to the NFL. They have a 5-star quarterback who's got a lot to prove this year. Michigan State doesn't even know who their quarterbacks. I mean, they
have that transfer from Temple, Rizzo. Is what I would see.
Michigan State.
Yeah, I don't know if he's starting or not. But
no, they haven't said who's starting yet. They haven't made up their mind yet. I think it could be one of those things where you see one quarterback and the other. If one struggles, the other's going to come in. One of those type of things. Mm-hmm. Northwestern has the better players on the field. They'll win by more than a field goal, I feel. So I'm going to take Northwestern, Sean. I'm going to for $20. I've been struggling a little bit lately. So when I struggle, I bring back the betting a little. So Northwestern -3 at -108. To win and cover here in Evanston, Illinois. And it's a beautiful campus. Have you ever been there? No, you haven't. But for those who really nice on Lake Michigan, it's a very nice campus. If you're smart enough to go there, lucky you. Your parents have a lot of money too, because it's like $80,000 a year. So you're even luckier in that regard. So they got a bunch of these other little games that are not listed here, Sean. Any other of these games in the college football, free labor?
So I would say one that intrigued me, and it looks like the money's following it, and I'm not going to make this official, but South Dakota getting double digits against Kansas, that goes back to what I said, these bad teams giving up a bunch of points. Earlier, it was like 13.5, so I think a lot of money's coming in on South Dakota here, and I would imagine South Dakota covers that spread.
Yeah, again, I have a real hard time with these smaller schools, though, coming up against South Dakota, yeah. Okay, it's South Dakota. Kansas has been god-awful, for years. But the fact of the matter is the kids are – so let me ask you a question. You're a kid who wants to play football. You can go to South Dakota or you can go to Kansas. Where are you going to go?
Well, Kansas has been awful for years too. So
I mean just from a school experience. I'm not talking about from a football experience. Well,
if you're going
from a school experience, where are you going to go?
Kansas.
Of course you're going to go to Kansas. Kansas is going to get the better players.
But I'm gonna go and play basketball instead of football.
Well, I mean, if you got that skill, you can go play basketball and get paid too, right?
And the other one I would look at, and I'm actually a Colorado fan. I picked teams when I was younger. I loved Colorado with Cordell Stewart, Rashawn Salaam, Michael Westbrook. But Colorado giving up 38 to Northern Colorado. Again, Colorado's not a team that's just going to beat up on teams. So that's a lot of points for Colorado to give up.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to do it or not?
Not officially, but I would just, if you're going to go that way, I would take the 38 with Northern Colorado.
Yeah, for me, only one game, Northwestern tonight. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Hopefully it goes under, Drew. Hopefully Northwestern wins like 21-7 or something. Just one of them really ugly Big Ten games in the middle of in the early part of September would be perfect. Now we're going to move on to baseball. We're going to be covering baseball. Will the game be – it'll be at the game, Sean. Oh, you'll be at the Colorado game. Well, yeah, that's cool. That'll be fun. Drew's always at a lot of sports. You're going to make another Moneyline Madman banner for us, Drew? That would be perfect. Try to get it right behind the end zone. You like when they're going to kick the extra point or the field goal? That would be just incredible. Sean will give you a free winner then. All right, so the New York Mets at Washington starts off a Major League Baseball. Sean, anything that you see with the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals that you're interested in?
No, two bad teams right now. I'm not interested at all. Though I am kind of surprised the Mets are only -135 here, where it looks like they really have the pitching advantage here.
Well, looking at the money is coming in on the Mets at the -136, about 80% of the money. a lot of money is backing the Nationals at plus 1.5 runs. So it looks like the folks expect a 1-run game. As far as the metrics are concerned, the New York Mets actually have they do have a run differential advantage for the Washington squad, and the Mets do have the power ranking advantage. This is a truly a 50-50 game. So if you're going to play this spot, I would probably back the Washington side because they score more runs at home. We've watched the Mets try to score runs. I might have to warm up the baseball bat shot the next time I back up the Mets. But yeah, so for me, if I were going to take a side, I'd go ahead and swing on the side of the New York of the Washington squad. Yeah,
they're both horrible versus left-handed pitching. Washington 16-25, Mets are 15-26. So
but the Mets can't score against right-handed, left-handed, or underhanded pitching.
Yeah, there's just nothing I can go on in this.
So Baltimore and the New York Yankees, I looked at the line. I was expecting one of those like minus 300 plus like big neon boom. You can't bet this game lines. And then I like, wait. And then it's you see John Means on the mound. I still think the Yankees probably dominate this spot. They have the biggest run differential advantage. I think Baltimore has like the worst run differential in all of baseball. I don't know that John Means is anywhere near enough to make up that difference. But you're still going to get a negative line across the run line and a negative line across the money line.
Yeah, this would be one I would throw the Yankees on a parlay at minus 235, or you probably got a little bit better, but I would throw them on a parlay, and that's pretty much what I would do with this game.
Yeah, minus 220 is about the best you can get at I don't know, it's Intertops or something like that. On the run line, negative 1.5. I mean, the Yankees are taking in almost all of the money there too. It's only minus 113. I mean, but I don't do the minus thing. That just doesn't work for me. Oakland and Toronto, the Blue Jays struggling. Is there anything you like in this spot?
Yeah, I like Oakland here because Toronto's struggling. It looks like, pitching matchups about even. Toronto's only 16-20 versus lefties. And you're getting plus 130, plus 140, somewhere in there.
So on Oakland, you can get plus 141.
Yeah, I'm making that official, and I'm taking Oakland. Seems like a lot of value for this game that could be a 50-50 game.
Yeah, Oakland actually is I don't even think it's a 50-50 game, to be honest with you. But the only thing that takes me off of a little bit is, Toronto does own the metrics advantages. They have a better winning record at home than Oakland does on the road in terms of how they win, at least recency bias anyway. Toronto actually scores more runs, considerably more runs at home than Oakland scores. We've chronicled how we look at the Oakland lineup. It's 250, 250, 250, 174. I mean, the batting averages are about my weight. And then you have Oakland, but according to the simulator, the A's win this game about 53% of the time. So you're catching the A's, you're catching plus 140. I think that's a good number. I think it's the right side of the bet to be on, but not a bet that I can make because Toronto has the edges on the power ranking and the run line differential. So
I will say one thing that makes me nervous is that offense really hasn't been showing up. And as soon as you go against them, that's the game they go and score 11, 12 runs. So that was the only thing. But that value there and the fact that they aren't that great against lefties, going over.
But you're on the right side of the bet, Sean. It's like my friend used to tell me in basketball. I tell you, the greatest basketball player I ever met in my life. And I met Michael Jordan too, so I'm second best. But he said, if it's a good shot and it doesn't go in, that's the game, right? They don't all go in. But as long as you take a good shot, a smart shot, it's still a good shot. So I think the Oakland bet is a good shot. It's just not one of the shots I want to take because I have a bunch of other stuff that I like tonight. Philadelphia and the Miami Marlins. The Phillies are minus 139. I cannot trust the Phillies on the road. And I certainly cannot trust Jesus Luzardo and his bloated ERA.
So that's why I am going to go the Phillies here. You got the big-time pitching matchup here. And plus, the Phillies offense is better than the Marlins, too. I know they're not that great on the road, but they got the players there. They just got to put it in.
Well, I mean, you have enough of a sample size this year to know what they're doing. And I mean, just because they should be better doesn't mean they will be better.
But I would still take that.
As Dennis Green said, they are who we think they are. And that's who the Phillies are this year. There's no denying it. They are what they are.
Yeah, but with that pitching matchup and the Phillies offense on the road is still better than the Marlins anywhere. So I'm taking the Phillies minus 139.
Minus 139 for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's the best line you can get, Sean. I cannot trust the Philadelphia Phillies for nothing. So I'm going to pass on that game altogether. But when you look at the money, well, at the minus 160, well, the actual cash money, about 90 cents of it's following the Phillies. So that's a good sign for you, Sean. Only about 80% of the bets are following the Phillies. So that lets you know that some of the smart money is tagging along. And then as far as the minus 1.5, you can get plus 120 there, Sean. And just about the same amount of money, actually more money is back in the Phillies at minus 1.5 than is back in the Phillies on the money line. You want to think maybe about doing the same thing, the $20 on the run line, and
no, this one I'm just going to stay. Phillies win the game. Like you said about their offense on the road and stuff. They're going to win this game, but I'm not trusting the fact that they're going to win it by 2 or more.
Yeah, Minnesota versus the Tampa Bay Rays. This is another one of those games that should be very much in favor of the home squad. Minnesota stinks. Tampa Bay is really good. All the money is backing the Rays, about 85 cents on the dollar. And when you look at the minus run line of 1.5, over 90 cents on the dollar is backing the Rays. So another spot where you could probably play it both ways. Tampa Bay has a big advantage in terms of the run line and power ranking. This is one of those parlay games, I think, Sean.
Yep, I would add the Yankees. I'm not doing this, but if you're doing a parlay, add the Yankees and add Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. And that's what you got so far, and I'm sure we might be able to find another one or two.
Yeah, that's a pretty big run differential. It's 62% to 38%. I mean, it's not remarkable. It's not even close. And at minus 210, the implied probability is that Tampa Bay wins the game about 68% of the time. But the simulator says that they win this game 3 out of 4 times, so 75% of the time. So even at minus 210 on Tampa Bay, and you can get as low as minus 200, 192, minus 189. Even at that number, there's a ton of value in the money line on Tampa Bay. So I agree with you. That's one that you want to throw into the parlay. Control, Cleveland versus Boston. Eovaldi, this is one of those games where, again, it looks like you should think really about heavily run lining the Boston squad. And then you look at the Cleveland pitcher. He's been really good of late.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't do that. And as a matter of fact, I was almost looking at that juicy money line of plus 150 for Cleveland, but I'm not going to do that. But I definitely
you can go as high as 165, Sean. Does that entice you?
No, I'm not official. I got enough plays tonight. I'm not going to do it, but it was getting close.
Yeah, there's just too big of a run differential for me to even think about Cleveland, no matter how well Contrell is pitching. And because he's pitching so well, it takes me completely off Boston, even though they're within my margin, down to minus 167. So I would be okay with Boston minus how well the Contrell is pitching. As far as the money is concerned, again, all of the money's back in the Red Sox. You got about $2 out of $3 backing them on the run line, and you have even more than that. You have almost 90 cents on the dollar backing him on the money line. So I agree with I'm not so sure I agree that's the right side of the bet, but I agree that Boston's likely to win this game and very much likely to win this game by more than 1.5 runs. Detroit and Cincinnati. Detroit is a different team on the road than they are at home, Sean.
Yeah, but the line is way too high for the Reds. And then I don't want to give up a 1.5 with the Reds neither, especially Gutierrez. He's been solid for who he is, but he's going to give up some runs as well.
Well, he's better than the Detroit pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Alexander I mean, when you look at the advanced metrics, it's not even close. And when you look at the Reds against teams that are sub 500, they're 29-23. They're 17 to 13, I guess, against left-handed pitching. Detroit is 28-37 on the road. When you look at the run differential in terms of what the Reds produce at home and what the Detroit Tigers produce on the road, not close. It's 57-43. The power ranking advantage is really heavily in Cincinnati's favor. And this is a home team tonight that I think can win by by a pretty decent margin. So when I go ahead and look at this game, it might even be one you might think about the over on, because I do think there will be some runs scored, but I think the majority of the runs are going to be scored by the Cincinnati side. I'm going to take Cincinnati minus a run and a half, Sean, for $20, and I'm going to get plus 107.
Okay. I would think Cincinnati probably could be the third part of that parlay with the Yankees and Rays as well.
Maybe if you parlay, I think you could probably put them on that side, but I think there's might be some more down the line that you get a little better value on. St. Louis and Milwaukee, the Brewers, my pick to win the National League pennant and represent the National League in the World Series. Sean's got the Dodgers. He's thinking about trying to come up with a bet. So come up with a creative bet that if, and since the Dodgers are the favorite, Sean's got to pay a little bit of a premium. So think of a good bet where Sean pays a little bit more than I do if indeed the Milwaukee squad makes the World Series. So we're on St. Louis and Milwaukee. Sean, anything you like in that side? Milwaukee probably wins this game.
Probably. I was really looking at the under, and then I thought, I feel like I make this mistake all the time. You get two really good pitchers going, but it's a division game. These guys know these pitchers. I'm going to pass on the 7.5, although that was where I was looking, was the under.
Well, it looks like the betting public is looking at Milwaukee winning this game running away, because more money is on the Brewers giving up a run and a half than on the Brewers just winning by a run. As a matter of fact, it's not that much money on the Brewers. Almost 40% of the money. It's just strange, because 40% of the money is on the Brewers to Moneyline, so to win by one or more. But you have 80% of the money on them to win by more than 2 runs. So I guess the folks are figuring, by more than 1.5 runs. I guess they're either figuring if Milwaukee wins, it's going to be a blowout, and if they don't win, they're going to lose outright. So maybe what you do in that case, Sean, if the betting public is right, if the sharps are right, maybe you go ahead and bet the Cardinals to win or the Brewers to win by more than 1.5. You get a plus line both sides, and you can make a money no matter what happens, as long as one of those two outcomes is in play. So
the only way you could possibly lose is Milwaukee wins by 1, and you know how that happens for a gambler.
Oh yeah, they'll go in what'll happen is they'll go into the 10th inning with that runner on second base, and the Cardinals will score 2, and then Milwaukee will come up, and the pitcher will walk the first batter, and the next guy up, first pitch, ding, and then that little sausage guy will be running around. The bratwurst guy will be running around the Fulton County Stadium, or whatever they call it now.
You can actually predict, too, how much a team will win by exactly, so I'm sure you could throw that in there, too, but then you're trying to balance 3+ lines. I don't even know how you would make money out of that. That's
nuts. I'm not that crazy, Sean. White Sox in Kansas City. I think about the White Sox should win this game, but Keuchel is not my favorite pitcher, as we've talked about over and over and over again. A guy gets shelled. Last time out against the Cubs, he gave up 6 runs in the first inning, I think, and then turned around and the Cubs were down by 6 runs by the end of the 4th inning. That's just god awful. But any case, I can't bet the squad because Keuchel is on the mound.
Yeah, and I actually like Kansas City here. They play the White Sox tough. They have the pitching matchup here. I actually thought you would be all over Kansas City here, but I'm going to take the plus value with Kansas City to win this outright.
So Kansas City to win this game outright is plus 113, Sean. You got the better pitcher, and right now the money, though, is backing the White Sox at minus 200. 3/4 of the money is on the White Sox, only 2/3 of the ticket. So the so-called smart money is putting a little bit more emphasis on the away team than they are on the home team. I can't back Kansas City as much as I wanted to back Kansas City because Keuchel's in this spot. The White Sox are just clearly the better team, and I feel like if they're the better team, I'm getting the simulator says 2/3 of the time they win this game, 2 out of 3. Implied probability says only 56%. So the value, the right bet, if you want to bet this game, is the White Sox, not Kansas City. But you're taking Kansas City for the value. It's not a good shot, Sean. You're being defended, and you might get rejected. You got the Kembe standing in front of you. No.
Kansas City does have a winning record against lefties too, 22-20. So,
and Keuchel's no good, but I look at those numbers and I have to make sure I'm always on the right side of the bet. Otherwise, I don't play. Atlanta and Colorado. You can get Colorado plus 124 in what is essentially an even pitching matchup. There's not much difference in the metrics between, I don't know how to pronounce, Yanawa and Senzatelia. There's a joke in there somewhere. Please don't touch my sensitalia. You got 124 for the Colorado Rockies, who do have the power ranking advantage over the Atlanta Braves. They also have the run line advantage over the Atlanta Braves. They have the simulator advantage over the Atlanta Braves. They have the winning percentage at home over the Atlanta Braves on the road. So does that mean I'm going to bet it, Sean?
No, you're not.
Absolutely, I am. I'm going to take Colorado for another $20 to win this game outright. And I feel like it's a 50-50 game, and I'm getting pretty good value at plus 124.
So this definitely makes me a little bit more nervous. I won't take the Braves tonight like I did last night. Colorado definitely has a better shot tonight than he did. But DraftKings does have a boost that the Braves and the Phillies both win tonight. So I did play that. I'm not making the Braves an official play, but knowing I really like the Phillies and then adding the Braves on, which I think should win, I took the boost. It was plus 220, I believe.
I'm really happy that they put that out there, because every time they put one of those out
there,
one of them is going to lose absolutely 100% for sure, because they know something. They just want to take your money, Sean. They're not being friendly. The only time they're being friendly is like tomorrow. You can get that Clemson, pound the under. Like I took it. It's like 4 points now, or pound the over. If they don't score more than 4 points tomorrow, I'm going to.
It will be at 0 by the time that goes off. So.
Well, I hope they score. I hope it doesn't go scoreless. Well, at least they go to overtime. Well, one team will get a 2-point conversion at the end. But yeah, I'm on Colorado. So, and it looks like I'm on the wrong side according to the smart money, because most of the money is back in the Braves. But when you look at the actual tickets, the little bit more money is on the Braves than there. I mean, on the Colorado than there are tickets on Colorado. So the so-called savvy investor is on the side of Colorado. Texas and the LA Angels, Sean. You got this kid Otto pitched lights out. I think 7 innings, like 1 hit or something, 0 runs. Incredible going against Ohtani. And so this line is really a little bit outside of my comfort zone of minus 167. But when you look at the again, the run differential, Texas is one of the worst teams on the road, hands down. Los Angeles the Angels are the best team in baseball against crappy teams. They pound on teams under 500. They're 20 games over against the bottom barrel teams. And Texas, if I asked you which team has the least amount of road wins in all of baseball, Sean, considering what the Pirates have done, considering what Arizona's done, considering what Colorado did at the start of the year, Texas has the least amount of wins on the road. So the LA Angels win this game. The question is, by how many runs, Sean?
Probably 2 or 3.
So if they're going to win by 2 or 3, which is what I agree on, you can get a plus line.
I'm actually more intrigued by the under here again, with Otto and Ohtani going. And it's not only Ohtani going, but it's Texas's lack of offense as well. So,
well, the one thing about the under that scares me a little bit, you got a young pitcher on the mound facing a star, right, in Ohtani, and you got that feeling like you have to be perfect. And a lot of times these kids, like you get 1 or 2 innings into the game and your offense is not producing, and Ohtani's like mowing down you feel like you got to be perfect and not pitch. And if he feels like he's got to be perfect, he might start steering a few over the plate that end up getting hit. So I think you're going to see the Angels score some runs, especially once Otto's out of the game and the defense and the relievers come in. I'm going to go ahead and put another 20 on the LA Angels covering that 1.5. I can get plus 107, Sean. Rich is all over plus lines tonight. So if I can just go 500, it's a little bit of money in the bank. If I can, I'm due for one of those nights where a couple of the breaks go my way too. So maybe I go 3-1, 4-0.
There you go. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Anything for you in this spot?
No, I would lean the under, and maybe, if I'm hitting or need a winner later, I'll do it in my personal account, but no official bet.
Seattle and Arizona, which is kind of an interesting line to me, because Seattle is minus 110. You're getting plus 103. I would expect Seattle to be much higher up the rankings. But as we mentioned before, Madison Bumgarner seems to have found the fountain of youth. He's pitching pretty well of late.
Yeah, so I would lean Arizona, but this is not a game I want to bet on with all kinds of games on the board today.
Yeah, and I hate betting against Seattle because every time I bet against Seattle, they win. Every time I bet on them, they lose. They're that team for me, and I'm getting sick of it. So I'm going to go out there and grab one of them fish and smack them across the face with it.
And the other thing is Seattle's better against lefties than Arizona is. So,
but the thing is, Arizona actually has the Eric Segal says he likes the Yankees, says he likes the Angels, the Brewers, the Rays, and the Yankees in a parlay. That's like a nice 14 parlay. What does that pay out, Sean? The Angels, the Brewers, the Rays, and the Yankees. Well, we do like the Rays. We do like the Yankees. I'm all over the Angels. I'm a little bit concerned about I'm not concerned about Milwaukee either. I think that's a good, really good play. Actually Arizona has the run line differential against Seattle, which shocked me when I went through the numbers, but they do. As bad as they've been. Dodgers and San Francisco. Ooh, this is a big game. The Dodgers just recently moved by the Giants. Now they play head-to-head. San Francisco with a chance to come back in the series. Ooh, this is a close one, Sean. Too close for me to play.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Dodgers got all the momentum here. I think they're going to put a clamp down on the division, but I'm not crazy about the pitching matchup tonight and going into San Francisco, so I'm going to pass on it.
Well, if you wanted to do San Francisco, 90% of the money is taking the Giants plus 1.5 runs. I think that's probably pretty fair. Most of the folks believe that this game is not going to produce 9 runs. It probably won't, but you never know. And then the money, however, is back in the Dodgers on the money line big time, over 70 cents on the dollar, whereas the tickets are 50-50. So the big players, the big money guys are betting heavy on the LA Dodgers to continue, as Sean said, put a chokehold on that division. That brings us – go ahead.
I got the parlay. Per DraftKings, it's plus 407.
All right, good luck with that. Hopefully it comes in for you. Houston and San Diego. Okay. This line makes no bleeping sense to me whatsoever at all. Who's the starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres?
Jake Arrieta.
I mean, I used to dig Jake Arrieta when he was with the Cubs and they won the World Series. I mean, he was a great pitcher. We were happy to have him on the mound. The guy was opinionated, talked a lot of crap. The alpha male. But now he talks a lot of crap, and he's on the mound. He's alpha male. He's to get instead of beta male. He's to get beat male. This guy in the last 23 and 2/3 innings. Sean, guess how many runs he's given up?
24 and 2/3 innings.
23 and 2/3.
Okay, 16, 17 runs.
Nope. Times 2.
34.
34. Whereas the Uriquidy, the pitcher for the entire year, is giving up 29 runs, and yet you can get Houston only minus 125. I mean, is that the square sucker play of the day? I mean, I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, now you're scaring me because I'm taking Houston. Are you taking Houston here too? I mean, you got to get on it. They put the hook out there. I'm going with it. We're either going to sink or swim here with it.
Well, Houston's got, according to Simulator, 61% chance to win this game. They have the better run differential. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous, San Diego's better at home than Houston is on the road in terms of their recency bias, their power rankings. But Arietta's on the mound. The guy hasn't gotten out of like the 4th inning without giving up 5 or 6 runs in like his last 6 starts. So unless he's gone off to the Madison Baumgartner Fountain of Youth and found something, he's gone into GNC and found some sort of supplement that's legal. I don't know, but I can't see how Houston has one of the top run differentials in the league, so they can score runs, and they're pitching against a guy who's throwing batting practice fastballs like he's in the home run derby.
Yeah, he's a guy. Jake Arrieta is a guy that's just in the league still because of his name. I mean, he's not a major league pitcher anymore. But teams keep taking a flyer on him, and it's not working.
Absolutely. So I'm all over Houston in this shot, Sean. So let's go ahead and book that for $20.
Okay, so you got him for 20. I got him for my normal 30.
All right. Anything else that you like tonight, Sean?
No, that's it. I got a bunch of plays here, and then I had a couple heavy leans as well.
Well, there are a couple soccer games tonight that are out there that I don't like. So I was looking at a few, but the lines are too close for me. So I'm going to stay off of those games altogether. There might be some tomorrow that I'm on. Of course, there's a ton of college football games tomorrow, Sean. If people want to follow us, where do they follow us? Where can they find us? What should they do in terms of helping us grow?
go on Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen, and then also go onto the website, moneylinemadmen.com, register for free, and join the
share your thoughts
conversation.
with us.
Yeah, post what you want. Post your picks, and so we can root for you as well.
It's fantastic. I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, Sean, we won't be back tomorrow, unfortunately. But what we will do is we will go to Moneyline Madman tomorrow. We'll post all of our picks on Moneyline Madmen, but you'll have to register to see them. Baseball, college football, MLS, whatever else is going on that we think makes good sense, where we might be able to make a few bucks. But when we're done putting them up there, Sean will go ahead and tweet them out, Facebook it out at Moneyline Madman, that our picks are up and live over at Moneyline Madman. We'll see you all on Monday. Until then, Eric, good luck with your 14 parlay. Drew, have fun at the football game. And most importantly, may all of your picks be winners.